Welcome to Rocky's Mountain. This isn't just a YouTube channel. It's a trail, a testimony, a fire-forged journey of grit, grace, and God. We've traveled rough roads, slept under stars, and weathered storms no shelter could hold. But through it all, we kept walking, because hope never left our side. If you've ever felt alone, like the odds were stacked high against you, the story is for you.
Comes a time in every life where silence is no longer enough, where conviction demands voice, where truth, though outnumbered, must stand alone if it stands alone. In a world increasingly comfortable with compromise, the story of Elijah on Mount Carmel reminds us that faith isn't meant for the comfortable moments. It's forged in confrontation, refined in fire, and proven when we are most alone. The setting is ancient, but the struggle is familiar. One man, 450, and the fire of heaven. We turn now to 1 Kings 18, a moment suspended between drought and deluge, idolatry and revelation. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. -1, Kings 18:21. That was Elijah's challenge, not just to the prophets of Baal, but to the people, to the bystanders, to those unsure, uncommitted, caught in the paralysis of indecision. Consider that. How long will you waver? How often do we live our lives wavering? Not in outright rebellion, but in quiet hesitation, in the gray area between faith and fear, between saying we trust and actually trusting. Elijah was alone, not in belief, perhaps but in voice. The last prophet of the Lord who dared to stand publicly against a nation bowed to Baal. 450 prophets lined up against him, their God, their rituals, their reputation. But Elijah understood something vital. Faith is not a numbers game. Truth does not require a majority. He proposes a test: 2 altars, 2 bulls, no fire. Let the God who answers by fire be God. It is a scene charged with tension. The prophets of Baal go first. Morning to noon they call. They shout, they dance. They cut themselves until blood flows. But there is no voice, no answer, no fire. Then Elijah speaks. He repairs the altar of the Lord, long broken, neglected, forgotten. He takes 12 stones, one for each tribe of Israel, a quiet reminder of their identity, even in their rebellion. He arranges the wood, places the sacrifice, and then does something unusual. He drenches it all with water. 3 times until the trench around it overflows. He removes every possibility of coincidence. Then he prays, not loudly, not dramatically, just words. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God. You are turning their hearts back again. -1 Kings 18:37, and fire falls. Not a spark, not a flicker, but consuming fire. It devours the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, the water, everything. The people fall to their knees. The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God. It's easy to see this as a story of spectacle, but it's more than that. It's about the quiet, steady defiance of one who walks with God in a time of compromise. It's about trusting when you're outnumbered, about speaking truth when silence would be safer. It asks us, when did we last repair the altar in our lives? When did we last stop wavering? Do we trust God enough to pour water on the sacrifice, knowing it makes no sense unless He shows up? There's another detail often missed. Before fire came, there had been drought. 3 years of it. And yet Elijah orders water poured out not once, but 3 times. What little they had, he gave to God, and God answered. Later in the chapter, rain finally comes, but the fire came first. Often, before God sends provision, He sends the test. Before the blessing, the choice. Not between good and evil, but between total surrender and partial belief. This is not just history, it's a mirror. Are we the lone voice or the silent crowd? Do we stand with Elijah? Or do we wait, wavering, hoping someone else makes the first move? The story of Mount Carmel doesn't end with fire. It ends with repentance, with revival, with rain. But someone had to stand first. Someone had to build the altar. someone had to pray. And so we ask, when the moment comes, will we stand? Even if we stand alone. If you feel like Elijah, surrounded, silenced, small, remember this. God's fire still falls on honest altars. He does not need crowds. It's courage. And when he moves, there is no doubt. Let the story of Elijah stir something in you. Let it push you to boldness, to rebuild what's been broken, to stop wavering, to believe again, not because it's easy, but because he is still God. The fire falls where the altar is waiting. Now let us take a minute to unpack some of the themes and lessons from the story of Elijah on Mount Carmel. Wavering is costly. Elijah challenges the people, "How long will you waver?" And he challenges us. For how long will we live on the fence? For how long will we hold back? When it comes to faith, we can't afford to stay in the middle. We have to make a choice. God doesn't expect us to be fearless. He wants us to be faithful. While Elijah was undoubtedly courageous, his story doesn't begin here. He'd been strengthened through prayer, fasting, and a deep walk with God. Our faith needs tending. It needs nurturing. Otherwise, doubts creep in, fears grow, and we find ourselves wavering when we should stand firm. Faithful obedience is not always loud. Yes, there's a time to be vocal, to speak up, to defend truth. But Elijah also knew when to be still, to listen, to simply stand in the presence of the divine. The greatest acts of faith aren't always the most theatrical. Sometimes the quietest moments are the most powerful. Trusting God means letting go of control. Elijah didn't know if fire would come after his prayer. He couldn't force God's hand. He chose to trust in the midst of uncertainty. Faith doesn't require guarantees. It thrives in the unknown. When we give God our best and step back, allowing space for divine intervention, that's when miracles happen. God can use anyone. Despite being outnumbered, despite feeling the weight of a nation's gaze, Elijah stood firm. God doesn't call us because of our popularity. He calls us because of our potential. It's not about how many are with you. It's about how much you trust in him. Standing for truth is more important than standing in comfort. Elijah rebuilt the altar, a symbol of devotion in a land of compromise. Standing for what's right isn't always easy, but it's essential. We might face ridicule, rejection, or opposition, but our commitment to truth should never waver. It's not about winning arguments, it's about honoring God. Don't miss the big picture. While the dramatic display of fire was significant, the bigger story is the spiritual awakening that followed. Elijah didn't just win a debate, he sparked a revival. When we stand for God in a world that's lost its way, we don't just defend our faith, we participate in the mission to bring people back to the truth. Will you stand? Will you be that one voice making a difference in a world that desperately needs to hear the truth? One day, everyone will make a decision that will affect them for eternity. Every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess. So the question remains, will you stand for God today? Will you be like Elijah? The answer is entirely up to you. So my question for you is, when did you last stop wavering? When was the last time you made a bold stand for your faith? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found encouragement in this message, share it with someone who might need to hear these words. Your support helps spread this message to more people. And if you haven't already subscribed, join us. It's a great way to stay connected and receive notifications for new videos. Thanks for watching.